Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hanifada binti Hishamuddin, 1182134. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about copyrights in the aspect of the background, requirement for registration, application for the procedure, the example of cases, and conclusion. Before we move further, we need to understand the definition of intellectual property first. Intellectual property refers to human mind creations, whether creative or intellectual, such as art and designs, literary works, and music. There are many different types of intellectual property, but some of the most popular are patents, copyrights, trademarks, industrial design, and geographical indication. We will only focus on copyright, which according to MyIPO, copyright is authors and creators of original material have the sole right to use, copy, or replicate their work under the Copyright Act 1987. People have probably heard that they get copyright protection as soon as they create a work and record or write it down. This is right, but the protection is restricted. Registration is the only method to get the full range of protection and benefits that copyright law has to offer. For this reason, our group has decided to copyright a few photographs, as you can see in the slide, which is a creation from Ahmad Sabri. There is a picture of a long exposure shot from a moving train, sunrise, Sri Sendayan Mosque, and people praying Tarawih while adhering to the 1 meter social distancing that will surely evoke a bittersweet feeling for many of us. To have a better understanding of how to register the copyright, we have interviewed an officer from the Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia, MyIPO. Mr. Ikram Sani bin Mahbub is an officer of the Copyright Department that has an abundance of experiences in managing copyright applications. We felt very thankful for the sharing sessions.
My name is Amira Najwa binti Azlan, now matric 1182132. Next, we need to know what is the qualification needed for copyright. If the author or in the event of joint authorship, one of the author is the qualified person at the time of the making of the work, copyright will vest in the work. According to the law, a qualified person is defined as a Malaysian citizen or permanent resident and concerning a body corporate, a body founded in Malaysia and can constitute with legal personality under Malaysian law. Under the Act, copyright will subsist in work if it follows all these requirements, which are the author or creator must be able to provide the work in its original form. Other than that, the work must also exist in material form so that it may be displayed easily if the author or creator want to publish it to the public. Besides, the work must also fall into one of the Malaysian government designated categories of protected work. Before copyright protection can be granted, the work must also be able to be certified as genuine. According to the copyright law, any person's work that meet all the stated standard and requirement is automatically protected regardless of its quality or intended purpose. There is no system for the registration of copyright in Malaysia, but the copyright voluntary notification can be used by copyright owners to help provide prima facie evidence of ownership and date of creation. This may be beneficial to the copyright owner because the voluntary notification can be used as proof of the fact in courts. Based on Section 26A, Subsection 3, a notification of copyright should contain the following item as stated here.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Sobri bin Ahmad Ismail Yazid, 1182801, and I'm going to elaborate more on the application procedures regarding the copyright registration for MyIPO. Several procedures should be followed if a person or an organization wanted to copyright their creation. According to the procedure of application for copyright voluntary notification provided by MyIPO, every application that was or to be applied should be made by a citizen or permanent resident of Malaysia. But if the applier is a foreigner, it is advisable to appoint a representative to apply for the copyright. The copyright voluntary notification can be used by copyright owners to help provide prima facie evidence of ownership and the date of their creation. This may be beneficial to the copyright owner because the voluntary notification can be used as a proof in the facts of the court. So, firstly, it is compulsory for copyright owners who are either the author, owner, or the licensee to fill in the CR1 form, which is the original work, or CR2 form, derivative work, and then followed by preparing a statutory declaration. After that, the form should be witnessed and signed by Session Court's judge, magistrate, commissioner for oaths, or public notary, and then they need to make a copy of it in the form of portable document format, which is PDF. In CR5 form, a copyright certificate needs to be completed before paying the application fee, which costs a minimum of RM10. After that, the form should be witnessed and signed by Session Court's judge, magistrate, commissioner for oaths, or public notary, and then they need to make a copy of it in the form of portable document format, which is PDF. In CR5 form, a copyright certificate needs to be completed before paying the application fee, which costs a minimum of RM10. There are two types of work that can be accepted by MyIPO, which is original artwork or derivative artwork, which consists of literature, music, art, film, sound recording, and broadcast for original artwork, and translation, adaptation, and collection of artworks for derivative. All of the payments must be made in the name of Perbadanan Harta Intelek Malaysia, and they are needed to submit the CR5 form statutory declaration along with a complete work to the copyright division to be reviewed by MyIPO. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fadil bin Sulaiman and my matric number is 118213. Okay, for the example of case related to the intellectual property, which is copyright. For the first case is to artists who mine use for copyright infringement. Okay, the artist claimed that work had been used by the store owner on his sale bag without consent. The duo claimed that the defendant had violated their copyright by copying, selling, and advertising the artwork without their written consent or knowledge. They told the shop owner to stop selling the bag and claiming compensation for the loss. They saw a declaration that the defendants had violated the copyright of the drawing under Section 36 of the Copyright Act. Okay, for the second issue is High Court rules sale of TV box infringe on copyright. Okay, the action was brought by MISAT Broadcast Network Sdn Bhd. It is service provider for ISRO against IST vendor load with application used as gateway to website that stream pirates content. Okay, court decision will strengthen the legal aspect in the protecting copyright infringement and battle against piracy, especially in digital and network form. Okay, for the last case is Indonesia Dempak Rabbit Town Love Light copyright lawsuit. Okay, Brisbane Estate had won its lawsuit against Bandung Commercial Dempak Rabbit Town. Okay, the court has found the Rabbit Town has modified urban light without the Brisbane Estate approval and therefore violates the estate right. It also said there was substantial similarity between urban light and love light and deemed that the flight was not an original work, as the Rabbit Town had previous knowledge of urban light. Okay, that's all for the example of case related to the intellectual property. Thank you.
In conclusion, intellectual property, although being an intangible asset, can be significantly more valuable than a company's physical assets. Thus, if it is vital for our business, we recommend everyone to register the copyright so our legal protections will be increased and we will be able to recover more money in a copyright infringement case. Furthermore, it can help us to avoid costly and time-consuming litigation. So that's all from us about copyright. Thank you for listening and Assalamualaikum.